Okay, so welcome to the first episode of the Fighter Diaries. So here we look into the fighter's life, go beyond the knockouts, the highlight reels, and the ring, and talk about some of the setbacks, injuries, and lessons learned as a fighter. So today we have good friend, professional boxer John Boyd. What's happening, mate?
All good, mate. How are you?
All good, all good. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you giving me
Pleasure.
your time. So, John, obviously coming off a win just over a month ago. Chat to me about your performance. How did you feel after the fight?
It was good. I felt good. Obviously, could have been a lot better. Just being critical of my own performance, but yeah, it was good, and it's a good stepping stone in the right direction for progressing in my career.
And talk to me about, fighting in Belfast in front of home crowd, main event. Like, how did that feel?
Unbelievable, unreal. It's actually something me and Jay spoke about before I turned pro, and it's something that he promised me. And he stuck to his word, and we've done it. But fighting in front of a Belfast crowd, in front of my friends, my family, and having my own support, it was unreal.
Lethal. So, before we jump into any of this fight talk, right? I want to ask you something personal. So, if this was an entry into your fighter diary today, what part of the journey are we on right now?
I would say we're still at the beginning.
Right. But for you, you've been boxing all your life. You turned pro over a year ago. What's your aspirations? Where do you see this career going, and what do you want to achieve from boxing?
We'll just take it one fight at a time, one sort of step at a time. I don't really look past my next fight.
Yep.
But if we're to have dreams and where we want to go, it has to be the top.
And when you talk about the top, what does that look like for you? How, obviously, I'm sure you've envisioned world titles. Is it a British title? What does the top look like for someone like John Boyd?
Well, from being from Belfast, West Belfast, if anything to get out of here. Obviously fighting in Belfast, fighting in the Diaries, fighting in Dublin, it's good, but you want to go to England, you want to go to international stage. That's the level you want to get to, your European level, your British title level, and yeah, that's where we want to end up.
So, take me back to the beginning. What was life like for John Boyd growing up in West Belfast?
Good. I grew up, I have a couple of brothers. Where did we go? Went to Chrysler Deemer Primary School, and then we went to La Salle. I suppose it's like any average teenager or any average kid from West Belfast was involved in GAA. You always wanted to be a footballer, played soccer, always run about the road here, but I don't even know, what did you say?
Yeah, no. So,
lost track.
Obviously, you grew up in a household full of boys. I'm sure there was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of say there was a few third eggs in that household, was there?
That's it. It was crazy. It was always 2-on-2. We're always battering each other. But I suppose because I was so small compared to the rest of my brothers, I had to get good at fighting.
Yep.
They're all big and tough, so I had to get skillful and learn how to fight so I could hold my own with them. And that was probably the first reason why I've actually got into boxing.
Yeah. So, who would you say, or what got you into boxing? Can you remember your very first time stepping into that boxing gym?
Yeah, never forget it. It's intimidating, it's scary, especially for being a kid and not knowing what you're doing, and you're rocking up to a club and everyone's fighting, everyone's flying. So, what got me into boxing? My granddad always loved boxing, and I always watched it with him on a Friday and a Saturday night. It used to be on Channel 5. And me and him used to sit and watch the boxing, and I always talked about jumping in the ring. I'd love to go train, I'd love to do it. And then it was actually with Lamderg when I was playing, it was pre-season, and we went to a boxing club and was like, I like this is good, but
it's crazy how the Gaelic got into the boxing.
I know, it doesn't make sense, but a couple of my mates who I was running about with over in my granny's estate, they were always boxing in Glenanne, and I was like, you know what, it'll help with my fitness for Gaelic and hurling and football, so I'll go up and I'll try it. I had no dreams of fighting, didn't want to fight, didn't want to spar or anything. I was just going for fitness, but fell in love with it. The first week I was up in the club, I was sparring, and I'll never forget the first dig in the mouth I got, and was like hooked, addicted straight away.
Cool.
And it's just been flat out ever since.
Right, John, chat to me about your amateur career. So, 3-time Ulster champion, fought in many international shows, fought in the National Stadium in Dublin. Like, you know, what did you learn as a fighter from your amateur career?
So starting off as an amateur, obviously boxed for Glenanne first, where I met Jim and Donard and Dee as well. I boxed for about a year and a half before I fought. They wouldn't let me enter any competitions or anything, just
Why?
drilling the basics, just to get everything
They wouldn't,
right.
sorry? Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so probably a bit of myself too, because I was still playing Gaelic and hurling at the time.
Yep.
And I wasn't 100% all in. And then whenever I was ready, whenever they thought I was ready, then I entered into the Antrims, and then from there just kept progressing. So started off as a novice, obviously Antrim 3, so it's 0 to 3 fights.
Yep.
Then Antrim 6s, and then just progressed from there. Then my first Ulster title, it was actually an Ulster novice title.
Right.
6 to 10 fights. Still progressing at this stage, I was still learning. I was only 17, 18 at the time. And then COVID hit, and over COVID, it was when I started training full time with Dee,
Yep.
with Dee Walsh, over in Mary Peters with all the lads.
And like, chat to me, chat to me about the influence that the likes of Dee and Donner and Jim had on your life and your career, like growing up.
Oh, massive impact. Obviously being from West Belfast yourself, you know the temptations. And then with people close to you, obviously abusing drugs and abusing alcohol, it's very easy to almost use it as an excuse for you to also do the same.
Yeah.
So having people like that around you, and having a boxing club, and having friends in the boxing club that are also chasing the same thing that you want,
Yeah.
it helps. When you're surrounded by people like that, you also end up the same. And they help me sort of stay on the straight and narrow, and help me stay on the right path. Obviously dealing with stuff in-house, they were always there. They're always there to talk to. They also knew what was going on, and it helped just guide me and help me sort of be the person I am today.
You know, looking back at your amateur career, is there one fight that stands out for you? Whether it be like maybe the toughest opponent, or even just like your best performance as an amateur? Like, is there just one that you're like, I would love to go back to that day?
My second Ulster title. I lost my granda, who I was really close with, in September, and to save me from falling into that trap and falling into the badness of dealing with that grievance,
Yep.
I went on holiday, and when I was on holiday, the Ulster Boxing put out for a competition in October. And I was like, I was actually in Spain and just started training in Spain, and I was text Jim and I text Donard and says, I'm entering this.
That's cool.
I want to enter this, I need it. And they were like, let's do it. So I fought in them. The guy I fought in the semi-final, wasn't really meant to beat him. I was still a novice at this stage.
Yep.
I won unanimous decision, and then the guy I fought in the final, again, they didn't think I was going to win. Well, everyone else didn't. I knew I was going to win. There was no one beat me in that competition. I actually stopped him in between rounds. He didn't come out for the third round, and he was tough boy from Donegal. But if I could go back till that competition, the feeling of winning after just losing my granda was unbelievable. Probably the best feeling I've ever felt.
It's cool that, like, obviously you spoke earlier on about how much of importance your granda was in your life, and obviously sitting down and watching boxing fights, and he probably was maybe one of the reasons why you got into boxing at the start, and then for him to pass away and you to maybe, you know, go out shortly after him passing away and going out and winning that title. I'm sure you were proud. I'm sure your family was proud.
Yeah, definitely. It felt good. But then once I won them, then the Ulster Elites was 2 months later in December, over my 21st birthday. And only the fact that I won the Ulster Intermediates that we entered the Elites in, and I won them. One fight, straight final.
Amazing.
And I won them.
Sick. So obviously now as a pro, 5-0, you chat to me about the change from amateur into the pro game.
I wasn't even boxing. I stopped boxing for a while, and I was doing wee one-to-ones with Dee and stuff, and I actually went up to Holy Trinity for a bit, and then I didn't really know where I was going.
It seems like so long.
It does, doesn't it? I didn't really know where I was going.
Yeah.
I was no real, like, I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. There was no real passion for it. And then I spoke to D. I was doing one-to-ones with him, and then I spoke to him and asked him if I was to turn pro, would you train me?
Yeah.
And he said yeah, and thank God he did, because I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for him. Him and yourself for looking after me.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, we've been obviously working together for probably 3 years now, maybe more than 3 years. And even that, just when you mentioned that Holy Trinity part, is like, fuck, that seems like so long ago. It's crazy. And obviously you've only been a pro over a year now, but like, it almost seems like you've been a pro for so long. And you know, what would you say, going back to like the amateur and changing over into pro, like, is there anything that you've had to change, or you feel like it's, as a fighter, like, have you had to change anything?
Oh, definitely. I sort of had to change my whole style. Amateur was very on my toes, hit and move, back foot and moving. I still sort of carry that style in the pros, because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to sit down on my shots a wee bit more, started taking my S&C a lot more serious, and I'm starting to hurt people from sitting on the punches, because it's a bit of a slower pace, but it's hitting a lot harder. Obviously, amateur is only 3 rounds, so you can't catch me for 3 threes, do you know what I mean? So the longer rounds and the smaller gloves, you have to put on a bit of say 100%. So you can hurt the boys.
Obviously, just touching on that, so you mentioned like your strength and condition. Like, how important do you find that as a fighter? And obviously you've been doing it before you even turned pro, but like, chat to me about the benefits of that and what you feel that brings to your performance.
It helps overall, mentally and physically, knowing that you're strong and knowing that you're lifting the weights you are in the gym, and then transferring it obviously into the ring and into training. It gives you that wee bit of confidence in everyday life, but it gives you a bit of confidence in the ring, that you know you're strong. You know you've done the work in the gym, you've lifted the weights, you've done the conditioning. That just boosts the confidence overall to know that once the work's done, it's done, and it's just time to let the hands go.
The best part. But so obviously then, the life of a fighter, like, you know, people like us, we see Instagram, we see the KOs, all the fun stuff. But like, what is it like to be a fighter full time? Like, you live and breathe this thing. Like, what's it like? I
love it. I need to be in it. I need a fight date. I need to be in camp. If I'm not, I'm a danger to myself, and I'm a danger to people.
Chat to me about like life outside of camp then. So, you know, like, how do you stay motivated? Like, what is life like outside of camp for you?
In what way?
In every way. Like, obviously, if you're saying there that you need boxing such a big part of your life, and then for periods of time for fighters that they might go have a bit of inactivity, they might have pullouts from fights, you know, you might have injuries. Like, how do you cope with that? Like, what keeps you moving, ticking each day, getting up out of bed to keep moving forward, to obviously progress, to, you know, to be a British champion, a world champion? Like, how do you keep moving forward?
It's about being surrounded by the right people, the likes of yourself, my missus, my friends to a certain extent, my family. The distractions are there. You know yourself, you're from the same place we're sort of in the sort of same friend group. We know all the same people. It's very easy that if you have an injury or the fight's over, to go on the drink, eat the fast foods. Like, it's so easy to fall into that trap. And then, especially with everyone around you, after you get a win, they're all bumming and blowing and all, and you're this and you're that and whatever, but it's about staying grounded and staying level-headed. And again, it's probably down to who you surround yourself with. Once you're surrounded by the right people, then it's easy to stay in the gym and it's to stay consistent. But some people aren't so lucky and aren't surrounded by people like that, and that's whenever you fall into that trap, and before you know it, your career will be done, because it's a short career.
Touching on obviously like food and stuff, you know, and I know you very well, and I know you enjoy a good bit of grub, fucking Domino's at 3 a.m. and whatever goes on. But, you know, how do you find cutting weight? Like, is it something that just comes naturally to you? You've done it for so long, or is it something that you struggle with?
No, I actually enjoy it. I enjoy being locked in, and I don't enjoy cutting weight, but I enjoy dieting. You put good food in, you get good out. But if you're eating shit all the time, you're not. If you put shit in, you get shit out. So you can't really be. Well, neither. I do eat an old Domino's at 3 in the morning, but if you're going sparring the next day, you're not doing stuff like that.
Do you have help, lad?
Yeah. Yannick McGee. Shout out to the big man. Yannick's the man. He, the amount of food that I eat and the amount of fuel that I have in my body going to sessions now, is insane. At the start, he was giving me all this food, and I was like, "There's no way I could eat this and make weight." But that last fight, I weighed in under well underweight, under the weight I was meant to make. I actually weighed in lower than the championship weight.
Yeah.
So, and that's all down to Yannick giving me the right plan. And
as an amateur, you might not have had access to those type of people and that type of information, but obviously now in this world you can jump on ChatGPT, you can fire in, you know, nutrition advice for a professional boxer or MMA or professional football, whatever you want. That, you know, it's out there, but obviously it's putting that into practice. Like, what advice would you sort of give to maybe a younger athlete that's maybe looking to make an impact in boxing, and you know, what's the importance around nutrition? Like, how important is it to you?
oh, it's everything. It means like, nutrition is probably one of the biggest parts to play in boxing, because you're fueling for performance. There's nothing worse than going to sparring and you're feeling sluggish, or like you're not firing on all cylinders, or the food that you're eating helps you recover in between the hard sessions, and it's also fueling you for the next session.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned over the past sort of year to 14 months. But for a young boxer coming through, don't be cutting weight. Eat the food. If you're struggling with the weight, just move up. You don't need to be wearing sauna suits and sweatsuits and all the sweat gear. Like, all it's doing is just damaging your performance. It's not having no benefit to you whatsoever. I think it's a bit of an old school method.
Yeah.
So it is the black bag on out
So you've
running the
done it
roads.
before,
Like,
have you?
I've done it plenty of times, but there's a reason why I'm smaller than all my brothers.
Yeah.
There's a reason why my wee brother's 21, he's 6'4" and 80 odd kilo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm tiny. It's from cutting weight as a kid growing up.
I think I listened to a podcast not too long ago. It was with Paddy Barnes, and that was one of the reasons why he is as small as he is, because he had issues obviously cutting weight for so long from such a young age. I think he ends up with like osteopenia or osteoporosis, something to do with his bones, and that was just due to severe heavy weight cuts from such a young age, and that's the impact it can have on the body. So what does life look like for you after boxing? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I think about it a lot actually. I'm definitely going to go down the coaching route, whether it's to coach other fighters or have a gym or have a stable of my own fighters. I've obviously been coaching from I was like 16, 17, and I've always been surrounded by fighters, whether it's MMA, Muay Thai, boxing. Always been surrounded by good coaches, so it's definitely something that I have a passion for, and something that I've given a lot of thought towards.
Unreal. And I suppose the last question that I want to ask you is, like, how do you see the next sort of 1 to 3 years pan out in terms of your career? Like, if you could map it out exactly, like, how does it look like for you?
In the next 1 to 3?
Yeah, like, you know, obviously you want to maximise the time that you have, and obviously build a good career. And I know we spoke about it at the start, but if you could map the next 3 years out, like, how do you see that going for you?
Celtic title, Irish title, and starting to push into like the European level, starting to fight into like that sort of scene, international, starting to go England direction, or else here too. You can fight for European titles here as well. So
yeah, big shows, and again, obviously, like, you know, with Crocker, Donovan, those type of shows being announced in Belfast, like, you know, would that be something that you would want to be? Obviously, I'm sure it would, but like, you know, headlining a big show in Belfast, like, how does that look? Like, how does that make you feel?
Unreal. Like, thinking about it, like, Lewis used to train with D. I've trained with Lewis loads of times. Like, there's no reason why someone like me can't achieve that. With hard work and being surrounded by the right people, anything's possible.
Unreal. Mate, I appreciate you giving me your time today. Unreal, you know, just getting an insight to your life, you know, the life of being a boxer, growing up in West Belfast, you know, those big influences on your life and got you to where you're at. And, you know, I've known you for such a long time, and obviously get to play a bit of a part in your career, which is amazing for me. So yeah, appreciate you giving me your time, bro. So just before we finish, we're going to finish with the final round, so everyone will get this when they come on the Fighter Diaries. So 10 quick fire questions. So do you have a pre-fight ritual?
No.
No? Cool. Hardest opponent?
As a pro?
Or anybody? Sparring? Anybody? Someone that you know off comes to the top of your head? Move on, we'll move on. Are you in boxing for the legacy or the money?
Bit of both, but I'm sure it's the money.
Okay, favourite music?
50 Cent.
First person you text after a fight.
My granny.
What's harder, the fight or the camp?
Camp.
Favourite sport except for boxing?
Hurling.
Your go-to coffee?
Used to be a coconut flat white, but it's an oat milk flat white.
Love it. Favourite punch or punch combination?
Jab the head, backhand to the body.
Favourite post-fight meal?
Pizza.
Oh, bro. Mate, appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, so episode 1 of the Fighter Diaries wrapped up. Thank you very much to John Boyd for coming on and giving us his time. And yeah, it was a great chat. I really enjoyed it. But episode 2 coming soon. We have Fight Academy Ireland middleweight superstar Paddy McCrory on to talk about his life, his journey in MMA, and yeah, looking forward to it. So hope you all enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for episode 2.